Did I hear real good from the adults? Come on down. You know, it occurs to me, somehow when I grew up, I heard the story of Balaam and his donkey. But we never read it in the lectionary, so I don't even know how many people here have heard the story of Balaam and his donkey. A few people. How many have read it in the King James English? You ought to read it in the King James English. It's a little even more humorous. But here's the story: is a foreign king came and wanted Balaam to come and put a curse on Israel, the enemy, from his point of view. And Balaam said, y'all spend the night, we'll pray, and I'll see whether we're going. And God told him, don't go. So he didn't go, but then this king, Balak, I believe, sent another message. And this time, Balaam heard God say go. So he saddled his donkey and headed out. And guess what happened? A flaming angel with a sword stood in front of them, but Balaam couldn't see it. And so the donkey stopped and started to veer off. And what did Balaam do? What do you think he did to the donkey? Like a horse that you want to go somewhere. He started beating the donkey and wanted it to go straight ahead, but he couldn't see the angel. And then he did it several times, and finally, guess what happened? Let's see if anybody can tell me. What happened? Anybody know? The donkey spoke back to him. Again, read it in King James English. And he said, why are you beating me? Can't you see that angel there? And suddenly God let Balaam see the angel. But the donkey talked back to Balaam. Have you ever heard of such a thing? And then God said, I'm going to let you go, but you're not going to curse Israel. You're going to bless Israel. And the king isn't going to like that. But sometimes, when we're determined to go somewhere that God doesn't want us to go, there might be some roadblocks put in the way. Or at least we might need to pray about those roadblocks. Now, you have an announcement to make. Why don't you step up here and speak into the microphone?
Good morning. Good morning. I want to thank you for all your help raising money for Curly's tricycle. We gave it to him June 15th, and when he rode it in the park, he said, wow.
That's great, and thank you for helping to raise that money. That's a great thing to do. Say hello to Curly when you see him riding that bike. All right, y'all can head back to your parents' pews. And as we listen to the readings, the first one's about Naaman, again a foreigner, that God heals through the prophet Elisha. And Naaman's a pretty important guy and thinks he's too important to do what Elisha tells us. Elisha or Elijah? I'm suddenly... Elisha, thank you, Nancy. And Elisha doesn't even come out to greet this great man. It'd be like the Vice President of the United States, whatever you think, coming and wanting to talk. Elisha sends a servant out to address him. He doesn't even go out himself. It says go wash in the Jordan 7 times. And Naaman says forget about it. Are there not great rivers in the land I come from? This is a story of the little people. First of all, it was a Israeli Hebrew slave girl that told Naaman about this prophet that could help him out with his leprosy. And then when he wanted to turn away angry and not go bathe in the Jordan, his soldier said, if he'd asked you to do something really difficult, you would have done it. And so he did it, and he was made whole. In Galatians, Paul again is dealing with freedom. Freedom from the law. Pay attention. Paul has to fight this constantly about this sense of, someone was telling me, Claudia, you were telling me that in the old days, you had to stop the Eucharist and light it. Now that's spotless. You remember those days. Those were the days when women had to wear those little doilies on their head, or the little Kleenex that you forgot to bring in. That really looks stupid, let me just tell you. But we do a lot of stupid things, and that's what Paul is talking about. You don't have to follow all those laws and traditions. You've got freedom to love God as you are and where you are. And finally, in the gospel today, it's about Jesus sending out the 70, not just the 12, but the 70. And it's about mission. And I'm going to talk about mission versus vision when it comes time for the sermon.